Mr. Biden, why did you put your dad on speakerphone with your business partners if he had no involvement in your business?
Do you have a dad? Did he call you?
Yes.
Did he answer the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
But why did you need to talk to him during business meetings if he had nothing to do with your business?
Any parent can empathize with Joe Biden's decision to pardon his son, Hunter. The decision will surely ensure that Hunter avoids prison time for crimes that he's already been convicted of and prosecution for any crimes he may have committed since 2014.
I am your warrior. I am your justice.
President-elect Donald Trump made it clear, not just on the campaign trail, but also in some of his law enforcement-related nominations to his cabinet, that he's intent on retribution, as he calls it, against his political opponents.
Kash Patel's only qualification is because he agrees with Donald Trump that the Department of Justice should serve to punish, lock up, and intimidate Donald Trump's political opponents.
The Hunter Biden decision comes as yet another bruising blow to the institutions of American democracy. For one thing, it preemptively collapses expected Democratic criticisms of Mr. Trump's behavior when he returns to office next month.
He is seeking unchecked power.
For another, it erases any last vestige of trust Americans may have had in their outgoing president.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
He and his aides repeatedly insisted
I've been very clear, the president's been very clear when we've been asked this question,
that he would not pardon his son.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No. I just said no. I just answered. Go ahead.
That he then went and did just that right after the election raises political cynicism in this country to a new level. The much larger problem, though, is that the Hunter pardon reinforces the case that the Democrats, for all their claims about the unique threat that Trump and Trumpism pose to American democracy, they have no more respect for basic democratic principles than Mr. Trump does.
Today, I signed an order appointing Jack Smith to serve as special counsel.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations.
For 4 years, they've been in prosecutorial pursuit of Mr. Trump, much of which was a nakedly political lawfare campaign to undermine and ultimately lock up their political opponent.
No one is above the law.
The Hunter pardon represents something like the inverse of lawfare, the use of executive power to shield the Democrats' favorites from the reach of justice, thereby upholding the worst sort of double standard and undermining respect for the rule of law itself.
I think he wanted to issue it now so that it would come before sentencing. I think that the political hit would have been even more severe if the judges, as everyone expected, sentenced Hunter Biden to serve hard time.
Making sure the pardon runs all the way back to cover potential crimes from 2014 onwards is especially egregious. Most acts of presidential clemency are retrospective, washing away a criminal conviction or foreshortening a prison sentence for a felony. This one looks deliberately designed to block a likely investigative process of real significance.
The committee is concerned by the complicated, suspicious network of over 20 companies we have identified the Bidens and their associates used to enrich themselves. Most of these companies were limited liability companies formed during Joe Biden's vice presidency.
This pardon looks like a willful move to shut down an investigation that could have big political and national security implications.
Between 2014 and 2019, this brings the total amount of foreign income streams received to approximately $17 million, correct?
That is correct.
At the heart of all this is the constitutional provision that created the presidential pardon prerogative in the first place. In the right hands, the power represents the quality of mercy, dropping as a gentle rain from heaven. In the wrong hands, it becomes nothing less than executive despotism, showering favors like a medieval monarch on family, friends, and retainers.
The fundamental question is, what did they do to warrant the receipt of millions and millions of dollars? Why did Joe Biden's brother? Why did Joe Biden's sister-in-law? Why did Joe Biden's son? Why did so many family members get the money?
In Trump versus the United States, the Supreme Court declared this year that the president's Article 2, Section 2 pardon power falls within his conclusive and preclusive, as they call it, official authority. Not only does any president enjoy immunity for official acts, but he can effectively extend that immunity to anyone he likes. Americans fought a revolution against a monarch they accused of setting himself beyond the reach of justice. How ironic that the ensuing constitutional settlement should contain within it a codification of that same tyrannical idea.